If I was telling a kid right now, I'd say, brother and sister, unless there's a super serious thing you can get a degree in that you can exchange for green rectangles, don't go.
Yeah.
Because all these people, half the people going in right now are getting degrees that mean nothing. Anytime you see kids looking up at Bernie Sanders in the same way you see those young girls at the Sullivan Show looking at the Beatles, the world's gone horribly askew.
That's
I
good.
see those kids and I think, are you kidding me? This is the guy we used to avoid his lawn because nobody knew if he had buckshot loaded up. All of a sudden, he's swoonable. It makes me laugh. Bernie Sanders can't believe he's pulled it off.
What do you think the obsession with politics is? Like that kind of thing.
School
You're right.
loans.
Yeah. You think that's it more
Listen,
than anything
man,
else?
when you get to a point, and for kids, I know they're going to talk about health care, but by and large, I don't think kids in their 20s, they're always so invincible, are thinking, God, I'm going to have a goiter when I'm 70. Is it going to be covered? I don't think they work that way. I do think a lot of kids are getting out of college now with north of 100 or high 10s school loan. They can't even get off the pad in their 80s. It's almost like they're working with loan sharks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They got to pay that off before they can get to their dreams. Therefore, they think, fuck my dreams. I'm not going to have a house. I'm going to live in a small micro apartment. I'm not going to get a car. I'm going to bike around or pick up one of these jerk-off scooters on every corner. And I'm going to go out once a week with my friends and film a Michelob commercial where we're all sitting around and we're all putting our beer on top of the turntable. And I'm going to pay for a great glass of wine because I don't have any options on getting a house or a car. And I think all that's happened is if I was a kid and I was sitting there with $100,000 worth of school loans, and it was for an environmental studies degree, where quite frankly I went out and they said, here's some dishwashing solution. Go clean that dove up on the beach. I'd be saying, who's the guy who wants to forgive my loan? I'd probably be going there. But I'm not anymore. I'm the old guy who had minimal school loans, paid them off, and they can't expect me to go back and see it that way. I don't want to give up everything for people who, if I was telling a kid right now, I'd say, brother and sister, unless there's a super serious thing you can get a degree in that you can exchange for green rectangles, don't go. Because all these people, half the people going in right now are getting degrees that mean nothing. And you could have 4 years on the ground. Find out what you want, get in there, get into whatever the equivalent of the mailroom is. Spend those 4 years, Jesus, for God's sakes, 1,500 days while they're sitting in there, holding seances and stuff like this, where you can be out there building a resume where the boss goes, that kid busts his ass. So when the college kid gets out and comes in and goes, I've got a degree. I was in student government. And the guy has to pretend, well, that's good, because he doesn't want to end up in a lawsuit. He's thinking, I got this kid busting his ass for 4 years. I'm going to give him the gig. So I think politics right now for young people come down to school loans.
What do you think of the other guy? We've spoke for 40 minutes or so. We
Biden?
haven't said the T word. Oh, we could do Biden. Let's do Biden. Where are you at with Biden? We didn't talk about Trump yet. It's been 40 minutes. Legally,
well,
we have to,
let's do Biden
Yeah,
first.
let's do Biden.
Listen, I've always made fun of Biden. I think anybody who gets in at 29 and is now 77 is inviting guys like me to make fun of him.
Yeah.
I know he's helping me. Joe, I don't need your help. You live your life.
Is he helping you? How's he helping you?
Well, he always talks about how I've been in public service.
Oh.
And you just want to say, oh, for Christ's sake. Okay, yeah, thanks for helping. But, I don't dig guys who get off, who quite frankly get off their old man's nickel onto the public dime in their late 20s and ride it all the way. It always bored me with Jerry Brown. He's pitching himself as, an ethereal creature. And I always think, brother, you've been on the teat for you're in your 6th decade now, okay? So don't tell me about what a free form you are. But Biden has never been as smart as they told me he was, or he told you he was. Anybody who knows their IQ is a big tell for me. Two things. When a guy you're golfing with goes into the woods and you get to the green, you go, what'd you get? And he pulls his hand up, I know he's fucking. And whenever a guy says, I know my IQ, I go, oh, Christ. I don't like that to begin with. I go, why? Why do you know your IQ? Are you that insecure? Are you faking it that much? Biden's one of those guys who knows his own IQ. And I never saw him as a genius. I always think of Joe Biden as the third guy in a car in a Sonic commercial, just popping up in the back seat. And I like the tater tots too. So he's no genius. But now he looks addled. I have more trouble.
What do you think of that? I mean, something is seriously wrong.
He had some sort of subdural hematoma years ago, right?
Yeah, but it's only in the last. He had that something like 20 years ago.
He's off his feed. They're going to push him ahead. He might get elected. I'll tell you what, he'll never go on a debate stage with Trump. He'll never do that. And I can hear the whole thing. They'll put it on prompter for him. They'll go, I would not normalize this man by being on the same stage with him. It would be beneath my dignity, but more importantly, more poignantly, beneath the dignity of the American people. And he'll get all tied up and poignantly and end up, in a straitjacket. They won't even know. They'll have to come out and get him off stage. But they'd vote him in because they hate Trump that much. I think he's by the boards. I don't think he was all that much to begin with. I don't like backslappers. I don't like glad handers. I don't like that cornpone bullshit about I walked through the diner today and you find out the diner hasn't been there in 20 years. Biden's just never impressed me. To me, he's always been more unhinged than a rescue dog in Phil Spector's house.
So before we get to the Trump guy, do you think a good person, actually sort of an enlightened, decent human being could ever be part of this thing? It seems like the ship has pretty much sailed on that, although I think a great reckoning could be coming maybe to our whole political system.
Yeah, but it'll be so cataclysmic, it remains to me unimaginable.
Yeah. No, I think it is unimaginable.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be 29, where all of a sudden the Dow, it's happening now because of the virus, but I'm just saying, it'll either be 1929 or 1860, something like that. Unimaginable. You don't want to be the first guy in saying, I can see a civil war coming. They'll make you out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But seriously, for the reset to happen now, I don't see it being incremental. I see something just the shy of cataclysmic happening. Maybe Corona's it, I don't know. But if anybody thinks the Dems are going to solve Corona after what I just saw in their own caucuses in Iowa, I don't know that I want to hand it off to them. But I don't see it coming back around. I see it getting very tribal. And I can only hope at some point we divvy up the albums like a relationship that's gone. It's like Woody Allen and Annie Hall. We got a dead shark here. Is that what he used to say?
Yeah.
And what we got here is a dead shark. And divvy the albums up.
So what does that mean, though? What does that actually mean? What does that look like? We divvy up the albums. Meaning what?
We should split up, in my mind. I don't see it coming back around. I don't know how to do that.
That doesn't work out very well for guys like me and you in California,
You move. I don't even know if it's geographic. I don't know what I'm saying. People say, exactly. I'm telling you, I think at this point, we got a dead shark, and I don't quite know how we figure it out, but at some point, we shouldn't try to go closer together because that's only going to make it more rancorous. We don't get along. We don't even agree. I tell you, one thing I do notice is I find people, I've been on the right and I've been on the left as far as issues in my life. I've also been thought of as somebody's on the left and on the right mistakenly over my life. I find the left is really more brutal than the right. I mean, I used to tear people in the conservative community a new asshole. When I'd meet them, they could at least laugh about it.
Yeah.
The left, man, it can get dangerous. You want to catch a D cell in a tube sock if you don't agree. And so that's why I zip it periodically.
Were you kind of shocked, though, when you first started seeing that? Like, you first go on O'Reilly, maybe have this...
Nah, I wasn't. Mort Saul wrote a great book years ago called Heartland. And I think when people think back on Mort Saul, they always think of him as liberal, probably because he was Sancho Panza, or Boswell to Kennedy's what am I thinking? Boswell Sam Johnson to Kennedy's Sam Johnson. He was his chronicler, and he liked being with the cool kids. But he started to see it, and he started talking about liberalism. And he was a real hipster, Mort. I don't even know if Mort's still up there. Maybe he's passed. But
No, he's still alive. Yeah. Unless something happened in the last week. I'm 99% sure.
And I just started having that epiphany. I remember it happened with Stockdale. I remember everybody's making fun of Stockdale. And I think McCain had told me once that Stockdale, when he was in the Hanoi Hilton, when kids had given up and they were going to kill themselves, he would get on the pipe at night and tap it with a flint to pray with them in sign language to convince them not to die that night.
Wow.
Like something that maybe, 1,000 men in the history of the planet have been consequential enough to do. And then he's on cable and he goes, I don't even know why I'm here. And everybody makes him an asshole. And I thought, this room's gotten too hip for me, man. If we're going to start like talking about Stockdale, like he's an idiot, and Nancy Pelosi's a viable player. I just thought I can't be in the libs. They ask too much of the lockstep.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about comedy instead of the nonstop yelling you get everywhere else, check out our comedy playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.